Zakia, where you at? Where you at? Zakia,
That's me. That's me.
Zakia.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Kia Bia gang, and welcome to Zakia Chanel Podcast. This isn't just a regular podcast. It's a place where we can let down our guards and be our authentic selves. So let's talk about it. The real, the tough, and the funny conversations. At the end of each episode, I want you to walk away feeling better than you did at the start. All right, enough of me talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's get into the episode. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Zakia Chanel Podcast. I'm your favorite Detroit podcaster, Zakia Chanel, and we are back again for another episode. So, FYI, before we start, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out the way. My voice may sound a little raspy. I'm not sick or anything. Yesterday was my Founders Day for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So I was out ski-weeing everywhere in the city, anywhere I could be. And now I'm trying to get my voice back, you know? So I have been drinking my tea and everything like that. But in a matter of time, it'll be back. No worries. We're all good over here. But I wasn't just going to not do my podcast because of my voice, you know? You got to keep going. So anyway, welcome back. Happy New Year. This is our first episode of the new year, technically. If we want to talk about like recording wise, yes, this is our first recording episode of 2023. As you can see, I'm back in my regular area because, you know, just going to take it back to what we used to do, chilling with my Kia Bia gang. So anyway, let's go ahead and get straight into the episode. If you are new, welcome to the Kia Bia gang. This is just an this is just a podcast where we just talk about all different things, just being transparent and being able to talk about topics that we don't talk about in everyday life, the journey of life as a young adult, and just trying to heal, grow, laugh, cry together, and continue to support one another in any way that we can. And so I am here as your friend, your family, your everything. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. So, as you know, or if you don't know, we always start with a praise break. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you all what my praise break is. And I'm just happy that I am in 2023. I'm happy that I am healthy, that I am able to continue my podcast, that God just been able to provide for me in all different type of ways. And I'm just so excited about the year and everything to come. And yeah, so that's my praise break. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. So I don't have a title for this episode, which is really crazy because I always come with some title. But I was like, you know, the title is going to probably come after I finish the episode so that I can know exactly what I want to do. Because this episode could be all over the place in a certain way because it's the new year and I want to do a recap. I want to discuss what 2023 is all about. And so, yeah. So, as I just said, we're going to talk about just a recap of 2022, like my highlights, my obstacles, the challenges that I faced, the things that I've been able to overcome, and just doing a reflection, just reflecting on life. Because I think that it's important for us to reflect, because if we don't reflect, how are we able to progress in any way, and how we're able to grow if we don't know where to grow from, where to grow at. And so I wanted to make sure that I did some type of reflection. And honestly, as I thought about this and I started to just like write down a few things, I started to think that, okay, 2022 for me was all about lessons. And not just ordinary lessons that we always talk about. Life is lessons, this, and that. But 2022 was like hardcore. Everything I did, everything that I was involved in was all about lessons. But through the lessons, it was very clear of what it was meant for me. Like, what was that lesson supposed to tell me? So it was very clear. Everything was very precise. And the lessons that I've learned, but not just a life lesson, the lesson is all connected to what 2023 is all going to be about. And so at that time, I wasn't able to understand, like, what are these lessons trying to tell me? What is this about? But now being able to be here at this time, I'm understanding that everything I learned in 2022 was all because of what is about to happen right now. And God has to prepare you. He has to know that you're a soldier that's ready to go out and do what is being asked on your assignment. And so the lessons was there to help me and guide me so that when things come in 2023, I'm not confused of why it's happening. I'm not confused on how to approach it. I'm not confused on if I'm supposed to be here, not questioning anything. Everything is very clear because of the lessons I've learned in 2022. So some of the highlights and obstacles is first, your girl graduated with her master's. So that was like really the highlight because it's something that I wanted to do. I achieved it in the amount of time that I wanted to achieve it. And also I was able to get it paid for. I didn't have to stress about money for my master's program. I enjoyed my program. Everything was wonderful. So that is my biggest highlight of 2022. The next thing is this podcast. So at the beginning of January 2022, I started the Zakia Chanel Podcast. I didn't know what it was. I just know that God was like, you're meant to be behind a mic and you're meant to do it by yourself. And so I was like, okay, let's go about it. And so throughout 2022, it's been rough. It's been like just a wave for this podcast. But in all honesty, I'm okay with that because it has taught me first how important the podcast is. It taught me to balance it. And if I really want to do this, if I really feel like this is what God is telling me to do, then to take it as serious as anything else that I do in life. Third, it showed me that I can do it. I can do it. All I had to do was just put everything to it. Yes, I'm doing my podcast. It's right there on there. Really, just on my, right there. Jeez. So yes, my doing this podcast was just something that taught me that I can do it and that when a thought comes to mind, you know that it's what you're supposed to do, to go straight to it, just to go after it. Don't question it. Don't figure out how it's going to go, how you're going to do different things. Do you have the money to get everything together? Just take that first step and actually do it. And once you do it, everything else is going to come too. And everything's not going to be perfect. Everything's not going to be peaches and creams, but you're going to be able to see that you were able to do that first step. And so everything else now is achievable. Nothing's a question of if you can do it or not. Then the next thing that I feel like 2022 taught me is so big on relationships. Relationships in all different kind of ways. I've learned the importance of it. Especially like in life, I've always took relationships serious. Like I wanted to make sure that in this relationship, in anything that my heart is in it. And so I feel like through 2022, it opened my eyes to see what relationships to continue to fulfill and what relationships are meant to be done with. It taught me why I'm in relationships with certain people and why I am not. Because sometimes we say this person, we put a title for somebody. This is my friend. This is my girlfriend. This is my boyfriend. This is my mentor. This is my sister. This is my brother. We put so many titles on someone sometimes and we do it so quickly, but we're not even sure why that person is in our life. So I feel like 2022 taught me, like, before you put a title on anything, see if what this relationship is. Look at it. Don't be just in it blindly, but see what is the meaning for it. Because if there's no meaning, there's no reason. There's no reason to be in any type of relationship if there's no meaning behind it. Everything is meant for something. And if you have to question what that meaning is, if you got to figure out why X, Y, and Z to this relationship, it's not meant to be. You need to let it go. And so I think 2022 taught me that, where now I'm able to fully walk into different relationships, and before I put a title on it, I look at it with a clear view of what it's meant to be. And then that shows me the importance or what I'm supposed to do within that relationship. The next thing is that traveling. So I've always talked about I want to travel, I want to travel, I want to travel. And 2022, we were just getting back out because of COVID and everything. And I was only able to really go to Houston. But when I say Houston was the best like trip I've ever went on. Like I went for my birthday, and when I say Houston opened my eyes to like just see that it's more than just Detroit. And because a lot of people don't talk about Houston as much, I feel like Houston is just an area that's just becoming very popular now. But Houston, when I say it was wonderful, it was excellent. So it's just like I really want to go travel, and that means out the country, that means to other states, places I've never been. I don't want to just do the common places that people just go for vacation or go for trips. I want to really, really like experience life outside of Michigan. I want to go and just live life. And so I was like, wow, I'm going to make it a mission where I can at least go somewhere every year. No matter how short a vacation got to be or anything like that, I'm going to make it a point to go somewhere, because I feel like that broadens your horizon to like what's out there, and you're not just caged in this one area of where you live at, caged with the people of how people are because of the one area that you're in, but you're able to like go and view the rest of the world and see how other people are, what they do, how they carry themselves, how they live their life, what's important in that state, what do they see as fun, just everything. You're able to just not be so caged and in this one little square and don't have no capacity to go anywhere else. So yeah. The next thing was, what else, y'all? So much. I feel like 2020, like these are like my points. I was able to go to like Mary J. Blige concert, and I know like, okay, this is just like a regular highlight, but when I say like the concert was more than just a concert, first of all, she gave a show. I love going to anybody concert that gives a show. I'm not paying no money to just sing with you. I want to have an experience there at the concert. I want it to be like something that I leave with like feeling, I don't know, like filled up at the end. And that's what Mary J. Blige concert gave me. And did I know it was going to be like that? No. I knew it was going to be great. I knew it was going to be fun and excellent. But like, I didn't know to what capacity, because I've never been to her concert before. But watching her in concert, listening to her journey of life, it just reassured me that just because of where you're at in life right now is not where you're going to be at. And if we all have a decision in life to choose if we want to stay in that place that we're in and let that dictate everything else in life, or if we choose to be in this place and choose to say, okay, I'm not going to allow myself to stay in this place. I'm going to push out of wherever I'm at. I'm going to make sure that I'm not just stagnant in this one area. And I feel like Mary J. Blige shows that in everything that she do, her character, how she carried herself, what she is involved in, and then just watching her on stage, it was just like you can tell that she's not just doing this for money. You can tell like this is a God-given gift that God placed in her to go out and share with the world. And I was just like, wow, our creative and our talents are meant for so many things and for a bigger purpose than we see. And so being able to just view it from someone else, it's like, wow, I want to be able to touch people's hearts like that for God, for them to have that connection with him, for them to understand what's important in life. I want to have that connection, that heart to heart with people in the world and touch people. So that's what Mary J. Blige concert was for me. The next thing, y'all, your girl did the 5K run. Me and my dad did it together, and my line sister. So that was something like I've never done before. I've ran track when I was younger. Haven't ran track since middle school, really, because I really didn't run in high school. So doing a 5K run was like, oh my gosh, y'all. I mean, people don't like to run, so everybody's not going to find it like, oh my God, this was so fun. But for me, it was like so fun. First, because I was able to do it with my dad, and that was like something I can look back and be like, oh, I shared this experience with my dad. And then second, the 5K run shows you like you have to be very like trained, and you have to make sure that you stay on schedule so that you can achieve this goal that you want. You can't just show up there and want to run and do your very best. It's like you have to train yourself up. So it taught me so much about discipline and being able to like see how I disciplined myself for the run is how I need to discipline myself for everything in life. When you want to achieve something, you have to set a discipline for yourself, because if you don't have no standards, no discipline, no nothing strict, then you're just gonna be whatever. If you feel like doing it this day, you'll do it. If you feel like you don't want to do it that day, you just don't do it. But when you are disciplined, you know that you need to achieve something, you want to achieve something, you're going to make sure that, okay, if I don't feel like I want to do it fully today, at least I'm going to put in 30 minutes to an hour. Or I'm going to make sure that I do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to give some time to whatever that thing is, whatever you want to do. And so it just taught me so much about just making sure that I discipline different things in my life that I know I want to achieve, that I want to get to. What else? Oh my gosh. I went to go see Sarah Jakes. I feel like that's just my like my angel. Like Sarah Jakes is just the best. Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts is everything. So I went to go see her again when she came here, and I'm gonna go see her this year in Dallas. So I'm so excited for that. But yes, I absolutely love Pastor Sarah Jakes because she just don't preach to preach. She don't just be saying a whole bunch of things and just screaming just to scream. But like she has a message, and whether like that message is for me, when I watch it, sometimes it's for me later on, or even like when I'm watching it, I be like, oh my gosh, like she's speaking literally like to me, and she don't have to. Sometimes when you are in a certain position, you have to kind of like stage yourself to be a certain way. You have to have this carry this type of like persona for people. She does not do that. She's truly herself, and that's why her gift is so strong, because she stays true to who she is. And in her staying true, she's able to like reach so many people, because that's all we want is somebody who's real, somebody who's genuine. When somebody don't have to fake anything, they're just them, you grab to that. You're like, this is legit. This is genuine person. And so like that's who she is. And then like just some challenges I think that, or yeah, I would say like challenges, or just like some things that I had to like um go through this year was first death, like, and grieving. I never experienced people passing away so much in my family. So, you know, so like outside of like my uncles and my granddad, I didn't really experience much of like grief from my family. So like those hit me. And obviously I think my granddad is the hardest one I've ever dealt with, as far as like losing someone. But outside of that, like when 2022, it didn't even, like 2022 didn't even fully hit. It wasn't even fully January 1st when sickness and death like just came in like a storm, y'all, like literally a freaking storm. And I could not catch a break. And often, or not even often, the whole 2022 I spent trying to grieve but not sit in the grief, because I feel like if I sit in it, then I wasn't going to be able to fully live life. And then also, I spent a lot of time not talking about it with people. Like, people would not know how much of how hard 2022 was when you're dealing with death. You have to, like, you don't even, the death's not even here where you stay at. So you have to, like, get your brain set to go buy a ticket, fly somewhere, stay somewhere, go through this funeral, do all these things, come back home, and then having to, like, come back home and still just go with life as if nothing happened, as if you did not just go to a funeral, as if you just did not fly to go do these things. And then being able to, like, make sure that you're loving on your loved one more than yourself at times, because you know that this death may be hitting them harder than it is for you. So it's so many things, and I think that's why I want to do a whole, like, episode on this, because I think it's very important. I think it's something that we don't discuss often, because who wants to talk about that? Who wants to talk about grief? Who wants to talk about some people of a loved one that they lost? No one wants to talk about that because it brings back up so much emotions. But it's okay to have an emotion. It's okay to bring it up. That's how we're able to, like, go through it. That's how we're able to push through it, and not even just push through it, but be able to just continue. All right. Before we continue our conversation, make sure to follow me on all of my personal social media accounts to stay updated on what I am doing. You can follow me on Instagram at _KiaZ, _KIAAZ. You can follow me on Facebook at Kia Brewer. You can follow me on Snapchat at FabulousKia_4. Or you can follow me on TikTok as Zakia Brewer. But make sure that you follow our podcast page as well on Instagram as Zakia Chanel Podcast. Okay, so where do we leave off at? But I think that's just how we're able to just continue life, when we are able to feel that emotion and talk about it. And I think for me, I wasn't able to do that because I feel like every time I was leaving a funeral and getting back into the groove of things, boom, another death. So imagine dealing with that while you're still trying to, like, work full time. You have to care. You're working with students, so that's a whole nother thing. Where you work for students, it's like you really have to push aside how you feel, because you don't know what they just came into school with, what they're dealing with at home. And you gotta be this light and shine bright for them so that they can feel at their best. So dealing with that, still trying to go to school full time, trying to do all of these things while still trying to grieve and feel it, and make sure you're not just ignoring your emotions. And so it's hard. It was a very, very hard, honestly. And so I think that was, like, my biggest challenge, is trying to just walk that out while still walking out life. And that was really hard. But I think that was my biggest challenge thus far. And I think my other challenge was just trying to understand life, understand what it is to be a young adult, understanding that what being in your 20s is, and seeing that we don't have to have everything together. That people make it seem as if you gotta have so much together, but you don't. Like, it's okay if you don't have it all together. It's okay if you're in this time in your life where you're still trying to figure things out. So, like, that was my challenge, is being nice to myself, like, truly being nice to myself and telling myself, like, okay, Kia, you want all of these things. You want X, you want Y, you want Z, but it's going to take a minute for all of those things to come. You can't just have it right now, and you can't just dwell on it when it's not happening in the way that you want it. You have to continue to just have faith that God is going to work it out, and that He's going to, like, open that door for you when it's time, and to not keep knocking on the door so hard and where you're ready to push it down, because what if I push this door down and it opens and I wasn't fully prepared for it? So some way, somehow it's going to get closed again because I wasn't prepared for it. Or if it don't get closed again, I mess it up. Like, it's fumbling. It's a mess because I was not prepared for it. So just understanding to be nice to myself and be able to just tell myself, like, it's coming. You're in the right direction. You move into the right things. Everything's not perfect in life. Everything's not going to be clear cut how you want it to be. And that you're 25. Like, you're 25. You still learning. You don't supposed to have everything together. That's not how it's supposed to be. Who told you that is how it has to be? So I think honestly, like, those were my biggest challenges, or just like things, the obstacles that I had to deal with. You have small things, but nothing drastic. But another thing that I took more accountability for, or not really accountability, but took more time to make sure that I achieved in 2022 was self-care. Like, I didn't know how important self-care was. I I never, some things I was doing as self-care, but I never knew, like, oh, this is self-care, guys. Because I'm a person where I just move, move, move. I do, and I don't understand, like, oh, you need to take time out. You need to journal. You need to go get a massage. Getting your hair, your nails done are self-care things, or self-love things that you love to do to relax yourself. So just starting to understand, like, that type of language of, like, making sure that you're okay, that you're taking some self-love, some self-care time for yourself, through everything that you're doing and trying to do in life. And so 2022 made me understand that more, and I made sure that I actually did that. Like, okay, I'm going to go get a massage. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to go get a massage next week on Friday. Or just seeing, like, oh my gosh, like, when I go get my hair done, it's not just me going to go get my hair done, but, like, I love the time by myself. I love going to go get my hair done and just spending that time with me, getting my nails done, so I started to understand, like, the things that I enjoy that I just thought was just things that I do are things that make me feel good, that make me feel like I'm relaxed, that I don't have to feel like I have to stress about anything. I can just chill and get my nails done, chill and get my hair done, and not worry so much about what's going on. And at times, sometimes, like, when I'm getting my hair done or whatever, I do, like, oh my God, I gotta do this, and this, and that. But I be like, okay, don't look at your phone, don't do these things, just be here and just enjoy the moment. So all of that to say that I believe God opened up the door for this podcast for me to be able to discuss the different things that I just started talking about, but actually going in depth about everything. And that we all are in this journey of life and trying to figure out what to do. And sometimes our biggest challenge to get from A to Z is that in the midpoint of that, we don't have anybody that we talk to. We don't know the steps to get to where we're trying to go. We're trying to figure it out all by ourselves. I don't want us to struggle with that in 2023. There's no more trying to figure out things by yourself. It's no more not knowing the steps to get to where you want to go. It's no more, it's none of that. I want this podcast to be where you can get the steps that you're trying to get, learn the steps that you need to learn to get to where you need to go. Or this is a time for you to be able to hear, listen, communicate, have a conversation about things that we go through, challenges that we have, good things that we see, that we fulfill in life. Being able to talk that out because it's good. And being able to have an area in a space where you're able to hear these things or talk about these things and feel that you're not alone. Being able to know that there's other people out there who's dealing with the same things, or, being able to know that you walk in the journey of life with other people. You're not solo. You're not just solo out here, just free game by yourself. But know that you got people here, or you got me here that is supporting you, that's rooting for you. I want this podcast to be something that inspires you, motivates you. At the end of the episode, I want you to walk away. Truly, like, when I say that at the end of my episode, I believe that in my heart. I really want you to walk away with something. If you're not getting anything from this, then I'm not doing my purpose. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I want you to walk away actually getting something from this podcast that is going to benefit you in whatever way in life, whatever it is, benefit you in some type of way in your life. And so I think that's why I have to learn that the lessons and the challenges and the accomplishments, everything that happens in life, to not go fast paced with it, to not ignore it, because these are all topics, these are all things that someone else may be dealing with, may be having a challenge with, may be having a difficult time with, or may have also succeeded in that, or is trying to succeed in what you just succeeded in. And so I have to remember, like, okay, everything that I'm doing is to help someone else out. It's not just for me. So that is something that was truly like big that I understand now. And so as we walk into 2023, sometimes I think that we go to the new year and we say, oh, what's my new year resolution? Let's do our vision board. We're going to restart. Let's redo this. And this year I just had like a different thought about life. Like, okay, we're going into a new year. Thank you, God, for this new year. Thank you for allowing me to get into 2023. But let's not look at it as hitting a restart button. Let's not look at it as just what's your vision board, what's your new year resolution, but let's actually go in depth on these things. I won't, when the new year hit, I want it to be a reflection. I don't want it to be a restart button, because if I constantly am restarting, that means that I'm never getting to the end goal. That's like if you playing a game. You playing a game and you lose, or you like, oh, I messed up, I want to start again. Okay, go back to the start line. You going again, oh, I want to go back again, back to the start line. If you constantly keep going back to the start line, are you ever going to get to the finish line? No, because you keep restarting. I don't want to restart life. I don't want it to be where new year, new me. No, I want it to be a new year, a new growth me, a new year growing me, a new year, a better me. I want it to be a thing that is being repeated. Okay, 2022, I fell down or whatever. I'm going to pop back up and I'm going to keep moving. I'm not about to, oh, I fell, I'm about to start back over again. No. What are you starting back over for? No. You need to continue to move. Go in the right direction. If you mess up, if you fall, if the year wasn't your year, okay, reflect on why it wasn't your year. Reflect on what happened. Reflect on what lessons you could have learned. Reflect on what lessons you have learned. And then use that as your energy boost to keep moving. Don't use it as a restart button to start back over again. Because when you start back over again, you're basically saying that you want to go through all of the things that you just went through again. I don't want to go. I don't want to go back to what I just did. I'm good. That was cool. That was nice. A great little memory, a bad memory, whatever the case is, leave it where it is. I don't even need to go back that way. I'm good. I'm ready for everything above. I'm ready for everything that's ahead of me. I don't want nothing that's behind me at all. Like, I'm straight on that. So I don't want to hit no restart button. I want to hit a continue button. I want to hit a reflection button where I'm reflecting and then I'm moving on. I'm continuing to move. And so I think that was my biggest thing this year. And that's why I feel that I was hesitant to do a vision board, because sometimes I do a vision board just to say, I did a vision board, or these are things I want to do. No, I want it to be a vision board where I truly vision these things happening. But once I vision it, what are my practical steps to get to the vision that I put on this board? I don't want to just cut out no picture and say, oh, this looks like something I want to do. No. Okay, this was something that I learned in 2022. Now that I learned this lesson, I know how to achieve it. So let me put this on my vision board, because now I know that I can achieve this thing. But if I'm just like cutting out pictures and putting on a vision board just to say I did a vision board, hey, yeah, vision board, these are my 2023 goals. And then to just also be real with it, like, I have a pro-con thing when it comes to vision boards. Like, I think it's good to have something shown visual for you so that you can constantly look at it. And then also, just because it's a vision board for this year does not mean it's going to happen this year. But that's okay. Because say if I have something on my 2023 board and it doesn't happen until 2025, I can go back to my vision board and see that that vision wasn't just a thought, that vision came from God, that was a thing that had to be done, that it's going to happen in your life. It just didn't happen when you thought so. But just because it was on your time doesn't mean it's not going to ever be your time. So that's what I had to do, is just that I'm like, okay, that has to be my thought when I'm doing my vision board, is that I want to be able to look back and say, okay, I did that. It didn't happen that year, but it still happened. It still was something to visual for myself, to have a visual of what I want to achieve so that I can make sure that I'm walking in that direction. But I think it's important for us to not get so choked up on the vision board, because what about everything on my vision board and what God wants? Then what? I'm mad about it? What? I'm just there? No. Okay. If this everything I have on my vision board and it's not what God had for me, well, throw the vision board away. All right, God, what's the vision you got for me then? So I can redo this vision board. You don't gotta wait until 2023 over and now we about to get ready for 2024 for you to then do a new vision board. If it's March and you say, okay, everything I put on this vision board, it's not what it's supposed to be, and God say add or delete or remove or change this that's on your vision board, you better add, delete, change whatever's on that vision board so that you can see that this is what God has for you and that you can really walk it out. Because what good does it do if I got something on my vision board that God says not for me, or that God says that's not what I want for you? So then I'm trying to walk out a vision that's my own. Well, that's not going to do anybody no well. Like, we're all going to just be here. So I think that we just have to look more into what our vision board is when you say you're doing a vision board. And I seen this thing with Steve Harvey talking about to have like the 300 list. And so you write down everything that you believe is a vision, or that you believe that that God has for you. And what you do is, okay, you write down the 300 things. You say, okay, this is what I want to achieve. These are some things that I believe that God want me to achieve. And then at the end of the year, you look at the 300 things and you check off what you were able to do and what wasn't. But then it also gives you that opportunity to say that you can continue to have whatever did not get achieved on that 300 list for the next following year. You don't have to just scrap it. You're able to reflect on the things that did get achieved and the things that you still are working towards for the next upcoming year. And so I think that that's something that I do want to do. But I do think that that's something that I want to do, because I am a person who likes to see things. And so being able to write it down, like not just having a picture, but actually being very clear and specific of what I want, and then being able to see that that one thing got achieved, or that I'm still working on that thing, it gives me some type of more clarity to life. It gives me a chance to really reflect on that. It's not just me looking at a picture and saying like, oh, what was this picture meant to be again? Like, why I put this picture down? You don't even remember why you put the picture on your vision board. So I think the 300 list is something that I want to try. And if you have tried the 300 list, please let me know how it has gone for you. I don't know if I can honestly think of 300 things, but I still would want to do it and just write down as many things as I can and see. Because I think that's a challenge in itself. It's like you're challenging your brain to really, really think very specific on what you want. And being able to write 300 things down is a lot of things. But at the same time, it's really not. Because who knows? Who really knows? So I want to try that, and I do want to know if someone has done that before, because I will really like to see, like, how did that go for you? or what did you like or dislike from doing it? Because I want to learn as well from you all. So if you've done it, let me know. And if you are doing it, let me know that too, because I want to know. I want to be able to talk to you about it. So yes, and I was watching Sarah Jakes, one of her sermons, and I think it was the first one that she just did for this year. But she was talking about like your New Year resolution, and like resolution, what that mean is like your end goal. And so like when you say I have this resolution, I mean that you have this end goal that you want to do. But sometimes in life we get caught up on an end goal and we don't look at the things that we have done through that like to get to that end goal. And so if we have our brain just focused on this is the end goal, then you miss out on all the lessons, the journeys, the steps, the obstacles, the challenges, the good things that have happened to get to this end goal. So say if you got to the end goal, I think she had used something like, I think her example was like being married, like saying, okay, I want to get married. You went through everything to get married. Now you're in this marriage and it's not what you want. Now what happens? You just there. So just being more in tune with what your end goal is, but looking at the journey, because life is not about the end goal, really. It's about the journey to get to the end goal. Because if you miss out on the journey to get to that end goal, then what testimony will you have? How are you going to help the next person? Like, God has put us all on earth for someone else as well. And so I stand true to that. And I always say that, like, my life is not my own because it's meant to help somebody else out. It's meant to continue whatever assignment that God has for me. And so if I'm missing out on a journey, then what testimony can I tell? I'd be like, yeah, I got married. Yeah, I got my master's degree. You telling me all of the resolutions. You just telling me a whole bunch of end goals that you did for yourself. You're not telling me how you got to that end goal. You're not telling me how you was able to overcome this, how you were able to achieve this. You just telling me your end goal. Okay, we got the same end goal. Cool. No, it's not about us having the same end goal. It's about you being able to give me your testimony so that while I'm going to the same end goal or a little different end goal, I have something in mind to remind me and to allow me to know how to get to this end goal, what I should watch out for, what I should do, what I should not do. And so I just think that we have to think about that more as we're living life, to not just focus so much on our end goal, but focus on the journey to get to the end goal. And just remembering that our journey is our testimony. And so if you think of it like that, then you won't be so caught up on the end goal. You won't be so caught up on the challenge, the obstacle that you had, but that you're going to be able to be like, okay, this is all for my testimony. This is all for something. And I mean, honestly, that helps me out. Like when I think about, okay, I went through this challenge for my testimony. Because if I did not go through the challenge, then what testimony am I able to give to somebody? What am I able to share with that person? I'm not just saying throw yourself out in this world and just go through challenges and difficulties just to put on your thing to make you look like you are strong and this super person in your testimony. But if you go through a challenge, you go through a challenge, but don't go looking for no challenge. That's not what I'm saying. Don't go looking for a challenge, because that's not a real testimony. You just trying to make it look like you did something, or trying to fake the funk, honestly. So the challenge come. If it don't come, that's all a part of your testimony too. Some people every testimony is different. That's what it is. So I just wanted to, I guess, just touch on that, because I just want us to be more, I just want us to have more wisdom, more like discernment in 2023. Just have some knowledge with us. I don't want us to just walk through life so blindly. And I think that that's just something that we just do too often. Like, oh, well, that generation had to walk blindly, so they're going to make us walk blindly. And because I had to walk blindly, I'm going to make the generation behind me walk blindly. What? So we're all just walking blind up in here? Why? Why when I have the tools to help the next generation to not walk blind? That's selfish of me. And that's not doing no good, because if they walking blind, then they're not able to do or achieve what they needed to do, because I couldn't not provide the tools for them, because I want them to walk through the same blindness that I had to walk through. So I think that we just got to be so like unselfish when it comes to that. We just be so selfish. Like, we don't want to help people out. That's crazy. Why not help somebody out? Why not help them? Why not want the best for somebody? That makes no sense whatsoever. So I think that we gotta do better. We gotta help our people out. We gotta help each other out. No more walking blind. Maybe that is the title. I'm not walking blindly, or no more walking blind. Be on to something here, guys. But yes, I think that that's really everything. I think that I'm excited for 2023 because I understand who I am, and not just who I am, because boom. I'm starting to understand more of who I am, and I don't have the full story of yet, because I'm still growing, but I have that confidence that only comes from God, that now I'm able to not worry or stress so much. And we're human, so I think that it's going to happen, but I'm not allowing it to distract me no more. I'm not allowing it to have the power over me. I think that that's what I'm understanding. And so 2023 is all about walking into like my truth, walking into exactly what God has for me. 2022 was the lessons. 2023 is walking into those rooms that God had for me. The tables that He had provided for me, I'm ready to sit down at those tables now. He didn't want me sitting at them tables in 2022. He wanted me to just be in a conversation with people. He wanted me to just have the lessons. He wanted me to just start seeing different things. But now, 2023, your girl is going to be in the room. They're going to say my name whether I'm in there or not, because I believe that God has a purpose for me. I'm confident in what I am doing. I don't have to question nothing. And if somebody don't like it, oh well. You ain't God, so I don't got to really please you no way. So I'm just so excited because of that. I'm so confident in who I am. I'm understanding of your gifts and what's for you. You gotta know you gotta know what your gifts are. You gotta understand who you are as a person, because once you understand, it shows other people how to treat you. It shows others who you are, how you carry yourself, everything. And so I think that's why I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like so literally on fire for 2023. Like, my body gets excited about this stuff because I'm so ready. It's not just that I'm so ready, but I'm excited that God has allowed me to truly like just know who I am and be confident. Like, it's not that I ever even did not know who I was, but sometimes like I would know different things, but I'm like, I don't know, God. Why me? Why would you choose me? Little old me? Like, nah, I can't do that. Nah, that ain't me. I stay right here where I'm at. So just now being in tune and like, no, you can't do that no more. Like, your stuff is for you. It's for you. Like, you gotta walk it out. You gotta be okay with who you are. You gotta love all of you. Everything. The scars, the beautiful things, your gifts, your talents, all of it, because it's all for the greater good, so that you can walk out your purpose fully. So I'm done, y'all. I'm done, because I'm just but I'll be on fire about this because I'm so excited now. So I'm so excited that it just keeps going. But in 2023, I'm looking to go the next step with my podcast, and I am starting to go. I'm going to have more guests on here, because 2023 I wasn't going to wait till 2023 to start bringing guests in. Like, if I see that I want to start achieving something, I'm going to do it when I see. I'm not going to wait for the end of the year to then go do it. So as you've seen, I've started to have people on my podcast, my different guests. And so I'm going to continue that this year. Hopefully I have a place of my podcast. I'm speaking that into existence. That I'm going to have a place so that it can be Zakia Chanel Podcast home, so that my guest QB Game can come join me. And so I'm geeked about that. So if y'all can help me anyway in that way, go ahead, come help me. I want all assistance over here. And if you want to be a part of my podcast in any way, got business, or you feel that you want to talk about a certain topic or discuss certain things, or you want to give your testimony, anything, feel free to contact me on my social media. You can contact me through via email, Zakia Chanel Podcast at Gmail, or you can comment on all platforms, YouTube, or all of my streaming platforms of audio. So anyway that you want to get in contact with me, you can. I'm open, and I'm excited about 2023 for myself and for y'all, because I know it's going to be good. And before we leave, y'all know we do our little segment of Run and Tell That, and that segment is all about something that this episode just made me sit and say, I really want y'all to truly, like, if y'all can't listen to the whole podcast, listen to this little snippet, and it's going to get you to where you need to be.
Run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy.
And so I think my run and tell that is going to be that remember you have to go through things so that your story can be told. We all have a legacy. We all have a story. We all have a testimony that one day is going to be told. And so life is not just for you. It's for someone else. And to not focus so much on your end goal that you forget about your journey. Because your journey is the most beautiful thing in the whole part of getting to the end goal. The end goal is beautiful, but that journey is just like magnificent. It's that cherry on top. The journey is the cherry on top. That's what it is. That's what's gonna make the taste the taste. So I think that is my run and tell that, to just remember that you have a story and that you have a testimony, and everything is for a reason. It's for a purpose. And so don't let where you're at be your stagnant spot. Continue to walk it through. I don't want to say push through no more, because push is just mean that you're trying to like knock things out the way. But I want you to walk through it. See every little thing, every little crumb that comes on the floor that surrounds you. Pay attention to it, because it's all a part of your journey, your story, your testimony. So thank you again for joining me for another podcast. I love you all. My Kia gang, we're so true to y'all. I love y'all so much. But I'm gonna go give me some tea or something, get this voice together, and I will see y'all for my next podcast episode. Until then, I love you all, and toodles. Hey, don't leave me hanging. Before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to Zakia Chanel Podcast. You can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Or you can go over to Zakia Chanel TV on YouTube to listen and watch the podcast. Looking for someone to host your event, or you want to learn how to start your own podcast, or you need organizing tips, I'm your girl. You can contact me via email. You can also reach out to me via email if you need any advice on anything at Zakia Chanel Podcast at gmail.com. Remember, it starts with you. Be blessed and take care of yourself.